WWE Crown Jewel left us with a lot of big moments, new storyline directions, and so much more. So we'll take a look at the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring winners and what message the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar match told us as well. Let's start things off with our King and Queen that were crowned at Crown Jewel. Zelina Vega was able to pull off the upset win on Doudrop. We say upset win because Doudrop definitely could have been seen as the favorite in this matchup. Doudrop really had the momentum going for a long time and pulled off some big wins to make it to the finals as well. Doudrop knocked off both Natalya and Shayna Baszler to advance to the final round. So you could make the argument that she was the favorite, maybe had a harder path. But Zelina Vega overcame the odds and will officially go down forever in history as WWE's first ever Queen of the Ring. It's a great story for Zelina Vega as well. You go back just about 1 year, WWE didn't really have any plans for Zelina Vega, and the entire third-party ban Fallout happened, which ended with Zelina Vega being suddenly fired and released from WWE for breach of contract. Everyone thought that was it. We had seen Zelina Vega's last WWE appearance for good, after that nasty fallout and departure. But a few months go by, and then Zelina was spotted at the WWE Performance Center, and reports were going around that Zelina was back with WWE. Fast forward some more to July 2021, and Zelina Vega made an unexpected return to WWE's SmackDown brand. That alone was great to see. She's immensely talented both in the ring and on the mic. So seeing that everything was squashed and she was brought back was a great thing to see unfold. However, Zelina got off to a slow start there during her summer run. It took Zelina a few months to get the ball rolling and pick up her first win since returning. But since she's picked up that win, it's been smooth sailing ever since. Zelina went on a hot streak that brought her all the way to the Queen's Crown Finals, and then of course winning the entire tournament. Zelina Vega was crowned Queen at Crown Jewel and will be referred to as Queen Zelina going forward. Doudrop would have been a great queen as well, but the entire Queen act does seem like it fits Zelina more. She's obviously a heel, so she'll be able to play to the crowd and get them all worked up from this new dominant queen role that she's been given. Zelina just has that personality trait where being sort of a tyrant ruler would legitimately fit the character. So Zelina does seem like the perfect fit to be a queen, so not a single issue with that decision there at all. Plus, it's great for Zelina Vega because ever since she split from Andrade, WWE has never really had a clear-cut direction for her. But with her now being the queen, she's gonna have a steady role on WWE television and a clear-cut identity. So it'll be interesting to see where Zelina takes her queen character, and you obviously have to wonder if Zelina will eventually make her way into title consideration now as well, since she's on top of the division as queen. Now let's get into the men's side of things with the King of the Ring tournament. Usually with these tournaments, we end up with one face and one heel in the finals, like the women's finals for example. But the men's tournament didn't stick to that structure this time around. We had a face versus face match with Xavier Woods versus Finn Balor. A lot of people expected Finn to pick up the win, but Finn already has the nickname of being called Prince, and entrance graphics all have that Prince labeled all over them. So it would have been a bit weird if he became king because he would basically have to relinquish the Prince nickname. But who did end up becoming King of the Ring was Xavier Woods. And similar to Zelina, this was just another feel-good moment as well. Like the commentator stressed during the match, Xavier Woods was more obsessed with winning the King of the Ring tournament growing up than he was winning the world title. Something about the King of the Ring tournament fascinated him, and he always said that he would win it one day. So it was great to see his dreams come true. Big E won the WWE title. Kofi Kingston had his run with the WWE title. And now, Xavier Woods becomes the first member of the New Day to become king. So, just great to see all the singles success. that the New Day had had recently. But we do have to wonder, what would being king do to Xavier Woods, the character? Xavier Woods was always in the background of the WWE title wins for Big E and Kofi, but now the spotlight is focused on him since he's now the king. So how much does winning the crown change his personality? Does he stay his normal, humble self, or will he start to feel himself a bit more since he's really the king now? Sort of like at the end of the crowning, where Xavier Woods said that he's the king and they listen to what he says. If he wants the camera to cut, it'll cut. So maybe he was just joking around there, but what happens if that turns out to be true? What if Xavier Woods starts to get full of himself and thinks that now he's above Kofi and Big E since he's the king? Sort of like a Mad King type of arc. Here we are thinking that good man has won the throne, but eventually the crown and the power start to change him and get to his head. It'll be a nice direction for Xavier Woods for sure, and maybe it can mark the official split of the New Day as well, if Xavier Woods does go rogue now that he's king. So that'll be something to keep your eyes on for sure. How will winning the crown change his friendships with the other New Day members? Let's get into the main event between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. The X Factor here was obviously Paul Heyman, who wasn't exactly his normal self for the entirety of this match. Heyman is usually very animated at ringside, overacting to every single move that transpires in the ring. But that wasn't the case this time around. Paul Heyman stood still for the majority of the match and didn't show any emotion on his face no matter if Roman was on offense or defense. Brock Lesnar hits the F5 on Roman, but accidentally takes out the referee, Charles Robinson, in the process. Brock pins Roman while the ref was down and definitely got more than a 3 count, but since he took out the ref on accident, there was no one left to make the count. Here's where our most interesting element comes into play. Paul Heyman finally awakes from his serious, stone-cold stance and walks over to grab the Universal title. Heyman holds the title and has to make a decision on who to hand the title to. Heyman ends up throwing the title right in the middle of Roman and Brock, neutral zone sorta area, giving both men a fair shot to grab the title and use it as a weapon. Heyman says, quote, "You know what to do with it." But once again, we don't know who he's specifically addressing. Is he talking to Brock? Is he talking to Roman? We don't know. It's really open-ended for the viewer to come up with their own translation of that moment. You can make the argument that he was talking to Brock and that this was the finale of their big scheme. Or you can make the argument that he was talking to Roman. But this moment didn't clear Heyman of any suspicions. If anything, it just created more suspicions. If you're on Roman's side, no questions asked, why throw it in the middle? Why even give Brock a chance? It's very suspicious. So this match still didn't answer the question about Heyman's loyalty at all. Roman still has every right to look at Heyman weirdly because that definitely was a weird move to make. Obviously, this wasn't the end of Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, with Paul Heyman's loyalty still hanging in the air and Roman cheating to win. It still leaves the possibility of a rematch wide open. This story is far from being over, we're just at the start. But what are your thoughts about everything that went down at Crown Jewel? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.